Ayubowan, Buddha Sarana. Today we are here to discuss the spirituality and day-to-day life based on the Vishwaprãni spiritual healing philosophy. So are we living our lives to the fullest? Are we really live our life happy? So Bhagya, what do you think?
That is a question, Shamika, that we all have. Actually, what is a spiritual life? What do you mean a spirituality in your life? Can anyone explain about what spiritualism is in your life?
Actually, spirituality is find out our true desire and our true self.
Right. Are we living our life by finding the true desire?
Yeah, so for that we need to explore our desires first, right?
Exactly. We have to, how can we, I think Rajitha will know, can say about how to identify what is a spiritual life and what is not a spiritual life.
I think the spiritual life, if we try to define the spiritual life, that we can
Is there
clear contrast if we compare spiritual life with religious life, because that's where the real contrast happens. Now, religious life have so and so features, whereas spiritual life
Yes, actually religious people, they always looking for truth. They think there is a truth to find it out, unknown truth. But spiritual people, they are trying to find out their happiness. That is desire. That is the difference of the people who spiritual and non-spiritual.
Yes.
So don't you think we are in a frame in a religious life, right? In spiritual life, we don't have a certain frame, so it depends and varies with the situations. Like so, in the spirituality, for giving something to eat for an animal as well as giving it to a monk or likewise. So we are trying to fulfill someone's hunger. That is a pure happiness we can gain by giving them food or something. So that is what I think. That is one of difference between spirituality and the religion.
Yeah, it is indeed. I mean, the people who live in the world, they think then that something like this. If, as an example, if we are giving something for an animal, if we are giving something for a human, it is both are something. It's an activity.
It's a giving.
It's a giving, but we are the one who is giving values. The values has gained from outside. Then we think, then when we are giving something to the animal, it is we gain something less.
Merits.
Yes.
Sometimes the merits.
Yes, but when we are giving to the people who doesn't have anything, it is when gain something else. This is so. Those are frames. I mean, which is built
given
up
by the religion
or
the culture,
cultural things, which is perception, those things.
So in
religious person always organizing that person's life based on sadness, whereas a spiritual person organizes that person's life based on happiness.
Yes,
that's the main point that we know.
Exactly.
Yes,
the spiritual person organizes life in happiness.
Yes,
and the non-spiritual person is organizing his life in pain. But he doesn't know that. He thinks around the pain. He thinks that he is satisfying his life, he's fulfilling his dreams, but actually he is not doing so until he finds what his real desire is. He has to fulfill his desire to identify this happiness. So until that, you are in organizing your life in that pain, and you will be in so many frames that you don't realize it. So you have to overcome those barriers to identify your real desire. Until then, you will be in a fantasy where you think you are happy but actually you are not. Also,
So actually, for that, actually we need to go through the pain to find what is the real happiness for ourselves.
real desire
Desires.
is, yes.
Yes, definitely.
And I think Lord Buddha also did the same thing. And Hareendra, you can say some few words about that.
Actually, the Siddhartha, he was trying to find his happiness through pain, but he was finally he was understood this is not the way. Then he tried to he was trying to find out his ultimate goal is, but he should have to go through the pain. Then finally he
Successful.
yes. Then finally he achieved his target. His ultimate goal is it is in happiness.
In the happiness. It's not through pain but in happiness that you can find your true spirituality. And that is what, as Vishwaprani spiritual community, we want to tell everyone. That the true, by finding out what your true desire is, you can achieve your spiritual happiness. You can achieve your happiness.
I think you have to go through pain if you are to understand and give more value to the happiness that you experience.
Yes. So the spiritual person always goes through the pain to identify his happiness, whereas the non-spiritual person will always stay in pain and not find what he really desires, and that will be a barrier for that person to achieve to live a spiritual life. As Vishwaprani spiritual healing community, we always promote happiness, finding your desire through pain and ultimate goal of reaching your ultimate goal of happiness. I think that is a message that we all want to give you.
So Bhagya, what we in the society, but we see most of the people admire pain rather than the happiness. So what do you think?
Actually, people like to think pain as pleasure. So actually that is a disorder in people. The reason is they get very attached to something and they feel the pain as pleasure.
As virtue also.
As virtue also. I think you can give some, Hareendra, why it's a disorder.
Yes, it is. I mean, the people who control the society, who they are so attached to something, then it means it's a disorder.
Yeah. And they also want others to follow that.
Yes, then they are trying to follow. I mean, they are trying to involve with the others to
create. That becomes when you really go. That is the disorder is in the pain that you say that in pain you find pleasure, and that becomes a disorder. And if it goes too much and you really take the pain too much into yourself, then that becomes a clinical disorder where you have to treat medically in order to for that person to be a normal person again.
So Bhagya, I think what we mean by disorders, then strong attitudes, strong concepts regarding things and situations, so they become a disorder, right?
Yes, that becomes a disorder, and that brings a barrier for you to identify what your real goal is and what your real desire is. And through that desire, when you find happiness, you ultimately become empty. The emptiness is the true happiness. So dear friends, we as Vishwaprani spiritual healing community, we also like you to identify what your pain and pleasure is, and through that identify what your desires are, and ultimately find your happiness. That is what we all ask our dear friends to follow, so that you will be always a spiritually happy person.
Yes, Bhagya. As per today our discussion, we need to find our disorders to find our ultimate happiness. So we hope to discuss you further in next program regarding our disorders and how to find happiness, true happiness, through the pain life. So till then, now we are going to wind up our today program.
ආයුබෝවන්.